Welcome back to the Analyst Diary. So I'll be walking you through my complete data cleaning process in Excel using a real-world Amazon product sales dataset. So this dataset originally had 20 columns covering product title, rating column, pricing column, discount, advertisement type column, availability, and more. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly how I audit, inspect, clean, and prepare this dataset for analysis step by step. Let's get into it. So before I start cleaning, let me show you exactly why this step cannot be skipped. So when I first opened this Amazon dataset, I discovered missing value across multiple columns, inconsistent text formatting, column names that are unclear and hard to work with. And I also discovered data type that do not match what the column should contain. And that is how real-world data is designed. And real-world data is always messy. So the job of a data analyst is not just to analyze, it is to make sure the data is reliable before any analysis begins. So if you skip cleaning and jump straight into analysis, your insights will be wrong, your recommendation will be wrong, everything built on dirty data is unreliable, and that is why I always clean first. So the first step in my process is always a data audit. And then this is where I understand my dataset completely and decide exactly which column I need for my analysis. So this dataset has 20 columns. But as a data analyst, I do not need all of them. I only clean and work with columns that are relevant to my analysis objective. So let me walk you through my column decision. So these are the columns I am keeping and renaming. So I changed bought in last month column to number of monthly purchase. So this column is telling us how many times a product was purchased last month. Then I also changed current or discount price to discounted price. I also changed listed price column to original price, meaning the price before discount. Then I changed a sponsored column to ad type. I also changed its coupon column to coupon discount. Then I also changed buy box availability to availability status, meaning to check if a product is available to purchase or not. Then I also changed collected art column to data collection dates. Yes, so these are the columns I am dropping completely because they are not relevant to my analysis, such as price on variance, it is not needed, is best seller column, it is not needed. Sustainability badge, it is not needed. Image URL and product URL, it is just for identification. So now my dataset has 10 clean focused columns that are all directly relevant to my analysis. So this is how professional analysts approach a new dataset with intention and clarity. Now I moved into data inspection. So this is where I go through each column using filter to understand exactly what needs to be fixed. So I start with rating column. Then I filter this column and found two problems. So there is a mixture of text and numeric data type in one column, and there are empty cells. And this column is supposed to be purely numeric. So both issue needs to be fixed during cleaning. Then I move to number of review column. So during filtering, this column reviewed comma sign. And this comma sign inside numbers can prevent Excel from reading them correctly as numeric value. So there are also blank cells that needs to be handled. I move to number of monthly purchase. So this was the messiest column in the entire dataset. So when I filtered it, I found bracket, dollar sign, comma sign, slash, plus sign, letter K, dot, a complete mixture of numbers, text, and symbols, all in one column. So this column is supposed to be purely numeric, and a lot of work is needed here during cleaning. Then I move to discounted price. This column has comma sign inside numbers, blank cell, and a mixture of text and numeric data type. So it needs cleaning before any price analysis can be done. So I also checked the original price column. So it has similar problem with discounted price column. So it contains dollar sign mixed in with numbers and a mixture of text and numeric data type throughout the column. Then I also checked the ad type column. Then I moved to coupon discount. So this coupon discount column has percentage sign, dollar sign, bracket, and no coupon value inside the column means some products have no discount. And it is a mixture of text and numeric data type that needs to be standardized. Then I also check the availability status column. So there are two values that exist inside this column, which are add to cart and a lot of blank cell. And the blank cell represents products that are not available. So I'll be replacing all blank cell with not available during cleaning. Then I moved to delivery details column. So after inspecting this column, I made a decision to drop it from my analysis. And it has mixture of numeric and text data type with $sign, comma sign, and various symbols. So more importantly, it is just product identification information and add no analytical values. So I moved to data collection date. So this column has no blank cell, no inconsistency, so it is clean and ready to use. Then I also check product category, no blank cell, values are consistent, the column is also clean and ready for analysis. And that completes my data inspection. I now know exactly which column needs cleaning and exactly what problem needs to be fixed. Now the actual cleaning begins. Then I start with title column. So I did not make any changes to this column because title column is purely for product identification. It does not need cleaning for my analysis. Then I moved to rating column. This column had a mixture of text and numeric data type. So to fix this, I used a combination of substitute function and value function to extract clean numeric values from the mixed entry. Then after creating the clean values, I copied them and pasted as value back to the original column. So then rating column is now purely numeric and ready for analysis. Then I moved to number of review column. So this column had comma sign inside numbers, which prevented Excel from reading them correctly as numeric values. Then I changed all values to numbers, which automatically removed the comma sign and standardized the entire column into clean numeric data. Then I moved to number of monthly purchase column. So this was by far the messiest column in the data set. It had brackets, $sign, slash, plus sign, dot, and a mixture of numbers and text all in one column. So to clean this, I used a combination of functions such as substitute function. So it is used to remove unwanted character. I make use of write function. So write function is used to extract relevant parts of the text. I make use of if function. So it is used to undo difference condition within the data. Then I also make use of if error function. So it is used to undo any error that appeared during cleaning. Then I also make use of trim function. So it is used to remove excessive space. So for the empty cell in this column, I made a deliberate decision to leave them as they are. So to me, an empty cell here means that particular product had no recorded monthly purchase for that period. So filling them randomly would distort the originality of the data set. Then I moved to discounted price column. So that is where I changed all values to numbers, which removed the comma sign automatically. And I also removed the $sign from this column. So for the empty cell, I left them as they are, because an empty discounted price to me means that particular product had no discount applied. And I do not want to fill them randomly and affect the integrity of the data. So then I moved to original price. So it is the same process as discounted price column. Then I checked the add type column. So I used trim function to remove excessive space and proper function to standardize the text formatting consistently across the entire column. Then I moved to coupon discount column. This column needed significant work. So I removed unnecessary text, $sign, and brackets using find and replace. And I also used find and replace to remove signs and symbols that were not needed for analysis. So after that, I standardized the remaining value. So the column is clean and consistent. Then I moved to availability status column. This column had add to carts for available products and empty cell for unavailable ones. So I used an if function to fill the empty cell with not available. Then I used trim to remove any excessive space. So the logic is simple. Add to cart means product that is available. Not available means product that is not available. So every row now clearly tells me the availability of each product. I move to delivery details column. So I use trim function to remove excessive space in this column. So for the empty cell, I left them as they are, because an empty delivery details likely means that particular product has no delivery information available, and I do not want to fill them randomly. So then I checked product tag. So it has same approach as delivery details column. Then I also moved to data collection date. So I fixed the date formatting in this column and converted all entries into proper consistent date format so that Excel can read and work with them correctly. And then I also checked product category. So I used trim function to remove excessive space and proper function to standardize all category name consistently throughout the column. So that is how I complete my data cleaning process. So every relevance column has been cleaned systematically while preserving the integrity and originality of the dataset. So now, before I move into featured engineering, let me quickly share the most common mistakes analysts make during data cleaning and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, working directly on your original file. Always make a copy of datasets before you start cleaning. I keep one sheet called raw data that I never touched. So if anything goes wrong during cleaning, my original data is always safe. So this is non-negotiable. Mistake number 2, cleaning column you do not need. Many beginners clean every single column in their dataset, even the ones they will never use. That is a waste of time. So I showed you at the beginning how I identify exactly which column I needed and dropped the rest. Always audit first and clean only what is relevant. So mistake number 3, leaving empty cells unexplained. Look at what I did with availability status column. The empty cell could have meant anything. So I replaced them with not available. So every row tells a clear story. So always replace empty cells with a meaningful value based on the context of that column. Mistake number 4, not documenting your cleaning steps. Always keep a record of every change you made and why. So I keep a separate sheet in my workbook called cleaning log. This is professional. This is professional practice, especially when presenting your analysis or working in a team. So then, after cleaning, I move into featured engineering, where I create new columns that make my analysis more powerful. So from this Amazon dataset, I created discount amount. So discount amount equals to original price minus discounted price. So this shows the actual money saved on each product. Then I also create discount percentage. So discount percentage equals to discount amount divided by original price multiplied by 100. So this shows how heavily discounted each product is as a percentage. Then I also created discount category, where I use if statement. Then I grouped products into unknown, discount, and no discount. So this new column will make my analysis much richer and give me deeper insight into Amazon pricing pattern. So that is my complete data cleaning process on the Amazon product sales dataset in Excel. So let me summarize everything I did. Start with a data audit and select only the column you need. Secondly, inspect every column before touching anything. Thirdly, clean systematically. Check for missing value, data type, inconsistency, duplicate. Then the next one, avoid the common mistakes we covered today, and then finish with featured engineering to enrich your data. So in my next video, I'll be taking this same clean Amazon dataset into SQL. Make sure you subscribe to the Analyst Diary so you do not miss it. So if this video was helpful, please like and leave a comment below. I would love to know what dataset you are currently working with. I am Balkis Lawal. See you in the next one.